So I'll say Yache, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're calling in from. Um, really feeling a lot of excitement and a little bit of nervousness, which is good. So I was thinking about how to, how to bring us into a good completion. And so I'm going to refer to um, our ceremonial way and bring and talk about a few of those ideas about how we think about it when we're closing a ceremony. And so, our topic has been Renaissance, to be reborn, and also perhaps resurrection. I heard as well. And I was having a long conversation with my dear sister this morning about the resurrection and as it has been described to me. So it's very present for me today. And spiritually, I've been told that at this time, our kind, the five-fingered ones, are being asked to birth themselves anew. And what I know so far in this year is that we can't do it alone. I can't do it alone. I can't do it by myself. I have to have you. I have to have my relatives. I have to have the spiritual guidance from all around the world and our understanding of how to bring ourselves and to walk as human being in right mind, right heart, right body, right spirit. So when I say I'm grateful for you and your presence here and for all that has taken place and all that we have heard over these days, I'm absolutely sincere about it. It's carried me in wonderful ways that were unexpected for me. And I imagine that's true for you as well. So I'm thinking about our very specific ceremony, the Inipi, the sweat lodge ceremony. And in a general way, I just want to say that we literally crawl into that space on our hands and knees in an act of humility. And we sit in the darkness and we pour water on hot stones. And so we feel that heat. And so as I look at those glowing stones, I think about the heart of our Mother Earth and to be in her presence, but also the heart of my own mother as she was growing me. And so we literally enter into the womb again. And it's our opportunity for renewal, for purifying. That's why we call it purification launch, for purifying in our body. Yes, we sweat, we get all glowy and dewy. But I'm also going to say that what's so profound about it is that it has a way of purifying our thinking. Those cycles, the way our mind goes round and round and round. It has a way of interrupting those ones and giving us an opportunity to ask, what else could I be thinking other than what I always think? To open up a space for other possibilities to come in. And it purifies, those harsh voices that we manage to pick up somewhere along the way. And so it's a purification of our thinking. And it's also a purification of our hearts, of our feeling. And so all of those emotions, those emotions that are stored in the body, as they say, the body keeps score. So we're purifying through that sweat also our emotions. And, I guess I'll go back to the thinking part. One of the prayers I often make is, I ask Spirit to spackle in those neuro pathways, those well-worn grooves up here, and also in my heart. Spackle them in, and then set me on a course anew that would really serve, that would serve my ability to receive this holy gift of life with both hands, to want it, to want my life. Oh, I believe that the Spirit can gift me that kind of renewal. And then, my spirit gets to remember the truth of who I am in there. So many things have taken place through all these beautiful, wise beings that have been gathered here. And we've been presented with insights from people who have been in deep spiritual inquiry. We've been able to share our own deep spiritual inquiry of the last year since you all last met, maybe. And so that's how it is in the sweat. It elicits the good words from us, the words of connection, the words of right relations, the words of beauty and harmony, as well as the release of all the things that seem overwhelming. So I'm thinking about it that way. And so we say, when we emerge from that place, we are renewed. We can leave behind everything previous and step out, reborn in a new way, with new eyes. And one of the things that I love about it is my intellect actually gets pushed to the back of the line. And for four or more precious days, I'm operating primarily out of body, out of heart, out of spirit. And so we say that's a tender place. And the insights that we have gained are tender and new, and they have to be tended and cared for and nurtured. So I'm going to propose that we, and as community, we can know that we're all holding this and maybe keeping this in mind, that we protect all this beauty and tenderness. We say in that ceremony, that was meant for you. That was a gift for you personally. So take care of it. Take care of it for 4 days. Know that you have been blessed. And so the rest of the world around us has not necessarily been in that presence, though I know that we are impacting by what we have done here. But for you to just hold it for a bit. Yes, those of us gathered here, I imagine, will be very ready to bring it out in service to the whole. To be ready to participate fully in the very highest possibility for life, light, and love. But just for these 4 days, we pause and let it do its work on us and receive it. Those of us in service, I think we always have to remember, and we have to remind each other, we also were gifted this life. Such a holy, beautiful gift. And so we get to feel that fulfillment and that spiritual fulfillment and that joy. So this is how I'm thinking about us coming out of this time together. And so we say we ask for a beautiful completion, that we might step into a beautiful new beginning. And so our ceremonies are ever beginning and ending and moving, beginning, ending, and moving. So we can think about it this way. Now, for those of you who were at the opening this morning, we have our water. And for those of you who weren't there or didn't know, there will be one opportunity here because I'm going to change devices, and so I'll hop off screen here for just a minute, and then I'm going to go out by the fire. But I'm going to ask you to keep this water nearby because at a certain time we'll make a space for us to go out and offer this water. Okay. So part of the way that we're going to close is we're going to do at least a partial acknowledgement of all the different ways that we have gathered here to come before the sacred, to come before the divine, to come before this 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 ongoing pursuit of understanding of who we are, where we are, and how it is, and what is ours to do, and what does it mean to be human being, and how do we uphold the honor of being human being, having been given a seat on that sacred hoop of life and having been given this sacred gift of life. So I will go ahead and head out to the fireplace here, and we have gathered some beautiful relatives to offer some words of closing, of benediction, of blessing, of understanding, and we'll do that out at the fire. So if you don't have your water, this is an opportunity to get it right now, and I will rejoin you momentarily. Can you see me and hear me?
Yes, we can, Pat. We can.
Great. I'm sorry. I could hear and see you when I went to my phone, but you couldn't see or hear me apparently. So I'm back on the laptop and try to give us a little view here of this fire. And I am a little new to virtual ceremony, so I just ask us to stay with the prayer. That's what is most important here. So I have here also my tobacco. I'll just say a couple words about this tobacco. This tobacco is, what we say is, so we say that all of this life around us are our elders, that we were the last to arrive. And they are all trying to give us instruction about how to be here. And so we have different ones that have stepped forward to be our ally. And tobacco is one of those ones. It's a sacred currency, I guess you could say. And we use it to make offerings. And we burn it. And so I'm calling upon this ally, this sacred tobacco here, to be with us at this time and to receive all of these good words of our relatives who are going to speak. And so after each one, I'm going to offer this to this fire that we built out here. And so I'm going to call on my new friend. We were chatting a bit just before everybody came on. Jamal, I would ask that if you would speak your words at this time.
Can you hear me?
Terrific. I can hear you. Yes.
Terrific. So I'm deeply honored to be in this beautiful, shall I say, rectangles of love or circles of love. I'd like to start by saying that it is my humble and sincere prayer that spiritual companionship grows into a grassroots global movement, that it becomes a sacred instrument of peace by which we open to the glow of presence, to divinity, to spirit. There's a verse in the Quran that says, Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein. The Prophet Muhammad said, you take one step towards God, God takes 7 steps towards you. Walk towards God, God comes running. So may this glow of presence inspire us to do what is critical, the inner inconvenient work, to transform the ego from a commanding master into a personal assistant, to purify and polish the heart so it becomes like a mirror reflecting the face of Allah. And may we truly be inspired to become a servant of service. I love those words. Jamal, can you become a lamp, a lifeboat, a ladder to God's creation? So may we be tender and loving in our care for animals. The Quran says animals are communities just like your own. May we have the courage and grace to reach out and connect with those who are outside our tribe, outside my zone of comfort and convenience. May we share, I love those words, 3 cups of tea with the other. Listen, respect, connect. Very often an enemy is someone I have not listened to. Respect. Within everyone is a divine spark. May I make a differentiation between behavior and being? Connect, share our humanity, share human stories, The universe is made out of stories, not atoms. You know, the Quran says every so where you turn is the face of Allah. And the mystics say, oh God, you have created this I, you, we, they, to play the game of adoration with yourself. And my dear friends, through this friendship, I pray that we transcend the barriers of race, religion, culture, and join together and collaborate in taking care of those phenomenal, difficult social justice issues, which are causing us so much pain, anguish, and discord. I pray that we walk softly on the earth, as the Quran says, and ask forgiveness from nature because of our abuse, our exploitation. And listen to the words of the Prophet Muhammad, who said, the earth is like your mother. Honor her, protect her. Maybe also, the mystics are very keen to let us know, maybe anoint the earth with our dance, our song, our laughter. The mystics say, Jamal, you know, the greatest regret you might have on your deathbed is this. Oh, universe, I did not kiss you enough. God wants to see more laughter, playfulness in my eyes, for that is the greatest witness to God. And the last thing I want to say is, when we listen to the advice of the Prophet Muhammad, who says, if you really want a life of fulfillment, be gentle, be merciful, be compassionate with yourself and with others. I want to end with a brief Quranic chant on compassion. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Thank you.
We can't hear you, Pat.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't realize. So I'm going to call on dear sister Mirabai. We're sisters up in Taos, and ask her to offer her words. And then I'm going to mute again, and I have a tech question. Am I able to mute with my space bar, Matt? You know? Try it
Should be.
because I can't see
But it's
anything
not,
in the sun.
the space bar isn't a toggle to mute though. You have to keep holding it down.
I see. Okay. So at this time, we'll just ask for the words from Sister Mirabai. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. So such a beautiful basket you're weaving for us here. I offer this prayer across the spiritual and mystical traditions that I have written for us. Beloved one, living light, spirit of all that is, we give thanks. Thank you for welcoming us to this sacred circle. We come from everywhere and we find you wherever we are, inside the holy houses of each of the world's faiths. and out in the wild places of the earth. Shoulder to shoulder in the mosque, bending to press our hearts to the ground in surrender. In the haunting Hebrew melodies of our ancestors, as we call on the Shekhinah to infuse us with her indwelling feminine spirit. In the communion bread and wine, which we take in remembrance of the Prince of Peace. We hear your voice joining with ours when we chant the divine names in Sanskrit and Tibetan, Tiwa and Maya and Maori. We meet you high on alpine trails where we stop to rest among fragrant wild herbs, beside a stream rushing with melted snow. We feel you holding us when we float in the arms of the ocean and she sways us with her breath. We kiss you when we are making love. We mourn you when an elder releases her final exhalation. We soothe you when we rock a tired child in our arms. We look for you in the pulsating emptiness. Search for your true form in the heart of formlessness. Unexpectedly recognize you when we give up and turn away. You shine through the ecstatic stanzas of the poets and mystics, each one singing your praises in a different language. You well up in our aching hearts when we cry out for the pain of the world. You are the call to justice and the answering response of mercy. You are in the wounding of the earth, and you are our only hope for mending her. O great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, true self and no self, invisible animating energy of life, we claim our place at your table and find ourselves home at last. Here may we eat and be filled, drink and become unbridled, lay down our burdens and take refuge. Drop into your sacred silence and remember. And let us take this remembrance back out into our lives, that we may truly be of service in this beautiful and broken world. Amen.
Thank you so much, Mirabai. And so at this time, I'll call on our sister Cynthia.
This has been a year of breathing, sinking into sacred brokenness and blessing for me. I have experienced that this week at this conference with all of you, and I'm deeply grateful for your sacred presence. I'm going to end with a blessing that I have been using each day, each morning, with an intention of it being the blessing for this day at this conference. It's also a blessing that I use each time I sit with someone in spiritual direction. It's by the writer and artist and spiritual teacher, Jan Richardson. And it's called Beloved is Where We Begin. If you would enter into the wilderness, do not begin without a blessing. Do not leave without hearing who you are, beloved, named by the one who has traveled this path before you. Do not go without it echoing in your ears. And if you find it is hard to let it into your heart, do not despair. That is what this journey is for. I cannot promise this blessing will free you from hunger, from danger, from fear or thirst, from the scorching of sun or the fall of the night. But I can tell you that on this path, there will be help. I can tell you that on this way, there will be rest. I can tell you that you will know the strange graces that come to our aid only on a road such as this, that fly to meet us bearing comfort and strength, that come alongside us for no other cause than to lean themselves toward our ear and with their curious insistence, whisper our name. Beloved, beloved, beloved.
Thank you so much, Sister Cynthia. Getting a little rhythm going here. So I'd also like to ask you, Miriam, if you would allow me to offer this tobacco with your words at this time.
Thank you so much, Pat. So there are two verses from the Torah. They are Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha. Listen, Israel, God is our God. God is one. Love God, your God, with all your heart, with all your embodied soul, and with all your power and might. These words from Deuteronomy are prayed by Jews several times a day around the world. And I interpret them in a way that I think, to me, speaks to the heart of this practice of spiritual direction, spiritual companionship. I feel they are practice instructions for living in relationship with great mystery. Listen deeply, be in relationship with a power higher than the egoic self, the spirit that infuses all life, all matter, all that is. This is to be in relationship with, and this to be loved with everything we have and all that we are. And I'm looking at the fire right now, and the wind moving the fire, and the smoke, and Pat's hand, and the tobacco in her hand, and the coals, and the circles, and the circles surrounding the circles of blessing in this ceremony. And I lift up this teaching from the Jewish tradition that we give everything to the face of love within us. And it's easily or more easily said than done. And so I'd like to offer just a short teaching that I have found so helpful to opening the heart when it's hard, in hopes that it may be of service to us in some way. The word for heart in Hebrew and for your heart could grammatically be spelled with one of the Hebrew letters that sounds like the V, levavcha, V. It's a bet, the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet. But for some reason in the Torah, it's used twice. Levavcha has two bets. And so there's a teaching that says why. It questions, why are there two of these letters when we could do with just one? And it's said that these two letters refer to two inclinations or urges that live within the human heart. One is constructive, generative, unabashedly loving. And the other is that impulse, fear-based. It can be awfully destructive. It can be sabotaging. It can it can wreak real harm. And so this teaching says, bring both, all of your humanity, your full humanity, and even beyond the binaries, all the spectrum of capacities of your humanity to your spiritual practice, to your life, for accounting, to tell the truth to ourselves, to each other, and to reveal our capacities for loving kindness, our capacities to move through fear, take risks, and to help birth each other into an even greater, wider capacity for living in the authenticity of our hearts. And as spiritual directors, as spiritual companions, do we not help in our best moments others to step into this larger heart space, this authentic heart space? And do we not also receive that support, hopefully, to do that work with ourselves? My prayer today, in this moment, the sacred ceremony moment, is that that we can look to the fire in this virtual ceremony, look to the generosity of Pat's spirit leading us and guiding us right now, to burn through any remains of lack of willingness to show up for the truth of our lives, even when it's hard, to show up in the face of even systemic ways in which that capacity of heart is causing damage. Racial violence and oppression and the traumas of the pandemic, so many potentially damaging hardships and traumas, damaging to the willingness of the heart to show up. So my prayer is that with ceremony, with our willingness to bring our full hearts where it's easy and where we go, yeah, I'm loving, but we take even the yeah buts and what's beyond that, and we bring it in service, and we let it be touched by fire of love and the fire of this flame here. And may it be for goodness and for wholehearted healing in our lives, that we may embody together, as Cynthia spoke to, beloved community, that we can speak to the one of the verse in the Torah that's not a one that represses or marginalizes or denies the complexities of humanity, but rather is the one that holds all the contradictions and paradoxes by a love greater than any, even of our greatest capacities. And that this strengthen us in our service to be lovers, to be stewards, and to be tenders of the flame in our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miriam. And so at this time, I'll call on Ravi, if you would allow me to place tobacco on the fire with your words.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you for all the words and blessings that each of you have given. In my growing up with my family in India, we always had puja, which was a ceremony, a kind of a prayer service that we did at home. And we did that sometimes every day, especially at beginnings and endings, and at times of auspicious moments and at times of loss. So, and we did this with family. And I want to share a little of the symbols we use there as we come to the close of this time. And it always began with singing some bhajans, some songs. And I can hear my grandmother and my mother, and I'm not a singer, but the words, the first line of this bhajan were, Sharan mein aaye hai hum tumhari, daya karo hai dayalu Bhagavan. God, we have come to you seeking refuge. Have mercy on us, O merciful God. And I want to show you a little tray that we use in the puja. And I'm going to use some of the elements. I'm not going to recreate the puja, but some of the elements of that in this blessing. There's always fire and light. So this diya that I have lit, we take in this light, we take it into ourselves, we put it that it permeates our whole body. I invite you in your own way to take in the light. In this conference, we have received light. We have received words of wisdom that have shown light for us. Light gives us both warmth, clarity, and a sense of the next steps that we have to take. We have received that during this conference from each other, from the words of wisdom we have heard, from our interactions, from the rituals. So I invite you, as you go, stay with the light that you've received for some time, but then take it out into the world that is longing for that sense of direction, for that sense of seeing more clearly, of dealing with our shadows, and take this light to the corners where we may not usually go. Take this light to learn from the light of young people, of the LGBTQ community, of BIPOC people, of people who are on the margins in any way, and also this light to the margins, that how we marginalize ourselves. This light, may this light go with you. There's always water. And as Pat has so beautifully been guiding us into the power of this life force, the power of this that connects us to our ancestors, to the earth, to the past, gives us life in this moment, and takes us and will be the life for the new generations to come. So part of doing a puja is both bringing our gifts, but receiving the gifts. Part of being puja is coming to encounter that mystery, that divine, but also to be seen, to be received, to be witnessed by that mystery. And we have seen that during this time. We've witnessed and we've been witnessed. So if you want, you can take, what we do is take a sip of that water and we drink it. And we share it in our own bodies. So this water, this life force, this life energy that is in you, that has been given during this week, again, be part of that river that's flowing in the world, to bring people that cleansing, that refreshment, that life. And may this water that we carry and we bring into the world mingle with waters from those waters that we have not yet tasted, those waters that we have not been part of. And may we all become that underground stream, underground streams where all of us connect into that power and the mystery of the great being, of Allah, of Krishna, of Yahweh, and all the names that we may not know. May we learn and flow in that stream together. That is my blessing for myself, for you. And may we take this light and this water into the world. And my theme words have been Sharan mein aaye hai hum tumhari, daya karo hai dayalu Bhagwan. I invite you in your own way to say your own words, your own prayer, that the vibrations of all of us together go across the Zoom lens into the universe, touch all beings, and that all of us together be transformed.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so I'm going to call now on Reverend Seifu to offer some words. Well, if you allow me to offer this tobacco on your behalf, on the behalf of your words.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Pat. In the Buddhist tradition, meanings are conveyed in lots of different ways, but there is a series of dialogues between the Buddha and his chief disciple Ananda that are documented in the Pali Canon, which is the earliest recorded sayings of the Buddha. And in one of them, in the Upada Sutta, Ananda is always asking these questions of the Buddha, and the Buddha is very patiently responding to his sometimes awkward and inept student. And in this one, Ananda is all excited and he says, "I figured it out. This is half of the holy life. Admirable friendship, admirable companionship, admirable camaraderie." The Buddha looks at him and replies, "Don't say that, Ananda. Don't say that. Admirable friendship, admirable companionship, admirable camaraderie is actually the whole of the holy life. When a person has admirable people as friends, companions, and comrades, that person can be expected to develop and pursue the spiritual path." And that teaching from Buddhism is, for me, is the heart of the teaching. It's no mere friends, these, not acquaintances, not fair weather friends who are there only when it's convenient for them, not false friends who smile to your face and stab you in the back, but a true friend, a true spiritual friend, because that person realizes that when you grow spiritually, that person grows spiritually. When one of us grows, we all grow. And so that notion of spiritual companionship, which is central to my beliefs, I think is a beautiful one that captures the essence of a lot of what we've been doing over the last few days, and actually over these lifetimes, I would say. So may we all find, and may you find spiritual friends such as these.
Thank you, Reverend Seifu. Thank you for all these beautiful words, prayers, blessings, benedictions from all directions. So powerful. Thank you for blessing my mama's home here with this. It's extraordinary. I'm pretty overcome at the moment. So at this time, let us thank you for that invitation to have a drink of the water too. I know some people were taking waters from their streams and lakes, so that might not be an option there. But for those of you who have potable water, yes, I invite you to also to have a drink of that water and all of the blessing and knowledge that was spoken, the consciousness that was given to the consciousness of water. And at this time, I'm going to invite each one of us to go ahead and take our water out and offer it to the earth, offer it to the life around you, to the trees. And I'm going to offer it to this pear tree that has been here with my mom since she's been here for 43 years. So we'll just take a few moments to do that and come back. So we'll go ahead and take a moment to do that right now. Just sing a little bit of our traveling song here as we get ready to travel on from our gathering. All these other songs are coming to my mind right now. See if I can find that one. Way-oh, 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 hey-ya. Way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya. Way-oh, way-ya, way-oh. Way-oh, 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 hey-ya. Way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya. Way-oh, way-ya, way-oh. Way-oh, 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 way-oh. Way-oh, way-ya, way-oh. Way-oh, 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 way-ya, way-oh. Way-ya, way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya. Way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya. Way-oh, way-ya, way-oh. Way-ya, way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya. Way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya. Way-oh, way-ya, way-oh. Way-oh, 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 way-ya, way-oh. Way-oh, 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 way-o, way-ya, way-o, way-ya, way-o, way-o, hey-ya, way-o, way-o, hey-ya, way-o, way-ya, way-o, way-ya, way-o, way-o, hey-ya, way-o, way-o, hey-ya, way-o, way-ya, way-o, 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 way-ya, way-o, 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 way-ya, way-o, way-ya, way-o, way-o, hey-ya, way-o, way-o, hey-ya, way-o, way-ya, way-o, way-ya, way-o, way-o, hey-ya, way-o, way-o, hey-ya, way-o, way-ya, way-o, 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 way-ya, way-o, 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 way-ya, way-o. I'm going to lay down a last offering of tobacco to this fire on behalf of this gathering and just say, Wopila, thank you. Thank you, Holy Creator God. Thank you, holy people all around. Thank you, all of the ways that the sacred comes to meet us and to keep inviting us to understand that we are that we are the sacred, that we are the holy, that is all one that way. And we are so loved, and our presence here is needed and does cause all life to thrive. All of these ways of prayer, all of these ways of right mind, right heart, right body, right spirit contribute to all the life around us. So thank you for giving us this opportunity to join, to gather, and to be able to express this aspect of ourselves, that we might feed all the life around us, that we might feed this Mother Earth, that we might feed the cosmos as we are fed so deeply by all. And I ask for a good blessing on each one as we travel on, that all that was given to us nourish us deeply, continue to nourish us in these times, be a light in our darkness, and that we might be able to be that vessel that carries light, life, love, that can hold with you all that arises, and that we have an opportunity to participate fully in the very highest possibility for life, light, and love, that we have the opportunity to uphold the honor of being human being. Wopila, thank you so much for all my relatives. Thank you for all these days. Thank you for all that has taken place here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So at this time, I'm gonna turn it over to you, Reverend Seifu, once again, to say our closing words here. But I'm just so grateful for this day and for all that you've allowed me to participate in, and all the ways you've allowed me to offer prayer. And nothing makes me happier. So thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you so much for everything you've done for our community, and we love you. I want to thank Mirabai, Ravi, Cynthia, Miriam, Jamal as well for sharing their insights and their love as well for all of us. And I wish you all much love to carry you forward in these difficult times. As we move through the challenges of our lives. I thank everyone, and we'll see you soon, I hope, online in myriad different ways, and in person, some of us next year, and of course in many other gatherings in the meantime. Thank you from SDI. A blessing upon all of you, and I invite all of today's speakers to unmute yourselves and share any greetings, farewell greetings you might want to as well.
Thank you and blessings.
Blessings.
Namaste. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you. Blessings.
Thank you, everyone. Know that you are enough. You have enough to step into these times as co-creators of this new world.
Thank you so much. All right. Now to sleep.
Thank you, everyone.